This lesson will focus on paragraph and essay development. It will teach you how to maintain your focus and organize your paper in a way that best expresses your ideas. Subject digression is among the most detrimental errors in essay and paragraph development. Digression is a loss of focus from what is important. The most important part of a paragraph is the subject. The subject of your writing is the person, place, thing, or idea that is acting. To simplify, we will first look at two examples with single sentences. Both sentences have a clear subject. Look at example 1. Bobby threw the ball. In this example, Bobby is the subject because he is the person who is acting. Now let's look at example 2. Political ideologies such as capitalism and socialism often conflict with each other. So in this example, political ideologies is the subject because it is the idea that is acting. Any body of writing, whether it's a short sentence or a lengthy novel, should have a definable subject. Paragraphs are no exception. The subject of a paragraph is defined in the topic sentence. The topic sentence summarizes the main idea or subject of the paragraph. Just as the subject of a sentence is generally found at the beginning of the sentence, the topic sentence of a paragraph is generally found at the beginning of the paragraph. It is usually the first sentence. Let's look at a sample paragraph. The question of how to deal with violent criminals is an ongoing debate in modern societies. Citizens have had to decide whether offenders such as first-degree murderers should be executed, imprisoned for life, or rehabilitated and given a second chance. Alright, so in this example, the first sentence is the topic sentence. You will notice that the rest of the paragraph relates directly back to the topic sentence. Each subsequent sentence proves or illustrates the topic sentence. When any sentence in a paragraph fails to support the topic sentence, subject digression has occurred. In this example, the sentence in red gives details that are irrelevant to the topic sentence. When I was growing up, one of the places I enjoyed most was the cherry tree in the backyard. Behind the yard was an alley and then more houses. Every summer, when the cherries began to ripen, I used to spend hours high in the tree picking and eating the sweet, sun-warmed cherries. My mother always worried about me falling out of the tree, but I never did. Okay, so the houses and the alley behind the yard tell us nothing about the author's experience with the cherry tree. This sentence should either be deleted or modified to help the reader understand how this detail fits with the rest of the paragraph. Subject digression may also occur in essay writing. To avoid this error, the first or second paragraphs of the essay will generally define the essay's topic. The introduction paragraph of a typical academic argument essay will answer these questions. What is this about? Why should I care? And what do you want me to do? To answer these questions, the author may do these three things. First, give the context. Second, state why the main idea is important. And third, state the thesis. So, first, give context. Be sure that your introduction gives the reader basic information about your main point. This allows the readers to better understand the topic and allows them to easily follow and make connections throughout the essay. Second, state why the main idea is important. Help your reader understand the importance of the topic. Help them see why it is relevant to them and why they should keep reading. And third, state your thesis. Your thesis is the focal point of your essay. Just as there is a defined subject in a sentence or paragraph, an essay should also have a defined subject. This subject is defined in the thesis statement. A thesis condenses the major arguments or analyses of an essay into a concise 1 or 2 sentence statement. Thesis statements act much like the topic sentence of a paragraph or the subject of a sentence. The subject of a sentence is typically found at the beginning of the sentence. The subject of a paragraph is typically found at the beginning of the paragraph. So, it makes sense that the subject of an essay is typically found in its introduction. Body paragraphs make up the meat of your essay. It is in the body paragraphs that specific arguments or analyses are made to support or prove the thesis statement. Throughout the body of your essay, be sure that everything discussed refers back to the arguments or analyses stated in your thesis. If any detail seems irrelevant to the purpose of your essay, it should be removed. If that detail goes in a more interesting direction than your original plan, consider rewriting the essay with that new direction. This would require rewriting your thesis to include it. But in either case, be sure that your essay does not commit subject digression. The final piece of your essay is the conclusion. The concluding paragraph should solidify the key message in the reader's minds and bring the essay's ideas full circle. This is often accomplished by reiterating the thesis. Give the readers a recap of your thesis so they can better understand the whole of your essay. When doing this, remember to not restate the introduction word for word. Also remember that the point of the conclusion is to wrap up everything that has already been said. In general, do not introduce any new material in your concluding paragraph. Here is an example of a reiteration of a thesis from the essay, The Bystander Effect by Dorothy Barkin. Here's the thesis statement at the beginning. Complex psychological factors, which many are unaware of, play an important part in the behavior of bystanders. Knowing about these factors can help people to act more responsibly when faced with emergencies. And here's the restatement at the end. The more social scientists are able to teach us about how bystanders react to emergencies, the better the chances that we will take appropriate action when faced with one. Knowing about moral diffusion, for example, makes it easier for us to escape it. If you find yourself witnessing an emergency with a group, remember that everybody is waiting for someone else to do something first. Notice that the conclusion echoes the main idea of the essay, but also offers an additional insight, something for the reader to ponder as he or she finishes the piece. Remember that essays have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The ideas presented in the essay should be fully developed, or in other words, given a satisfying amount of attention and support, and should be focused on supporting the essay's thesis or main idea.